from Israel, and I'm a computer science major here in Texas A&M, but today I'm going to be talking about something else entirely, the Arab-Israeli conflict. As an Israeli, this conflict is very important to me, but I want to show you that this conflict should be very important to you too as well. I'm sure you're all familiar with the conflict. I want to ask you some questions. How many of you think the conflict is about land? Raise your hand. Okay. And how many of you think it's about religion? Okay. How many of you think it's about something else entirely? Yeah, you want to share it?
Oh, I think it's a combination of many.
A combination?
Yes.
Okay. So,
And control.
okay. I prepared my presentation for a 15-minute time frame, but I was told I have only 10, so I'll try to make it and answer the ultimate question as to why can't we all just get along and how we can get along. So why should you care? Okay. First of all, it's a place of strategic importance, right? It's the only land connecting between Europe, Asia, and Africa. It's also a place rich of natural resources like oil. Okay, that's why many nations are interested in that area and having ties with local countries. It's the birthplace of the three major religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. They're ordered, by the way. And it has a lot of religious places like the Old City of Jerusalem, Western Wall, which are sacred to Judaism, Temple Mount and Dome of the Rock, which are sacred both to Judaism and to Islam. That's why it's a key element in the conflict. And the Sea of Galilee and the Jordan River, which are sacred to Christianity. Okay, for those of you who say it's about land, I'm going to argue that it's not about land. Okay, if you take a look at this map, the green represent Muslim distribution. Okay, light green represent Sunni, dark green represent the Shias, and as you can see if you can see the small gray dot in the middle of that, that's Israel. Okay, so if the conflict was about land, I don't think we would have any conflict. Okay, so how did it all begin? In 1948, the UN announced the partition resolution, okay, which basically divided the region of Israel into two different entities, one for the local Palestinian Jews and one for the local Palestinian Arabs. Both were considered Palestinians, by the way, at the time. Violence immediately broke loose. Israel declared independence, nevertheless. About 6 months later, Harry Truman, which was the U.S. president at the time, recognized Israel on the same day. The Arab League unanimously rejected the resolution. The Arab League is a coalition of about 22 Arab countries. And the War of Independence broke, which was a very fierce war, a lot of casualties. And as a result of that war, the refugee problem arose. Okay, so we had approximately 820,000 Jewish refugees from Arab countries that fled into Israel, and about 650,000 refugees from Israel that fled outside into Arab countries. We didn't have war, but we didn't have peace afterwards either. So there's a stark contrast between the way they were both handled, okay? First of all, Arab refugees were some expelled, most of them fled to avoid being caught in the crossfire. It was encouraged by their leaders. They wanted them to make a path for the invading armies, and they received international assistance. On the other hand, the Jewish refugees fled due to widescale anti-Semitism and pogroms. Their exodus was encouraged by the Arab leaders, and they received no international assistance. Okay? Now, they were both initially settled in refugee camps, transition camps, etc. But the difference was that the refugees in Israel were given full citizenship and full human rights. They were gradually absorbed and integrated into Israel's society, and the refugee camps turned in time into cities. On the other hand, the refugees in the Arab countries were not given citizenship. Their refugee state was passed to their descendants. That's why we still have refugee camps till this day, and there are no refugee camps in Israel. The refugee problem in Israel was resolved after a few years. And I want to show you this map. It's from 1993. Not a lot of things changed since, only the numbers. But as you can see, there are many refugee camps all around the Middle East, Lebanon, Syria, and Jordan, West Bank, and Gaza, and there are no refugee camps within Israel, as you can see here. There are Palestinian Arabs that are part of the Israeli population. They represent 20% of the population, 1.6 million. They enjoy full human rights. They elect and can be elected. We have 4 Arab parties, and we have Arab representation in Jewish parties as well. Some of them serve in the military, others prefer Muslim rule. And I want to show you that the Middle East never enjoyed a long period of peace. We always have one conflict or another until this day. Yom Kippur marked the end of large-scale military warfare. Until that day, until that war, it was Israel backed by the U.S. usually against 10 or 12 Arab countries backed by Russia. From that time, it turned into guerrilla war and terrorism attacks. But it was not all guns and bullets. We had some peace agreements. This, for instance, is a peace agreement with Egypt, Israel and Egypt, and that's Jimmy Carter over there. So we had 2 peace agreements. We had one with Egypt and Israel. Egypt was the first Arab country to recognize Israel and to extend their hand in peace. And also that was the first Arab leader to do that. It was very remarkable. Israel withdrew from the Sinai Peninsula, and consequently, the Arab League ostracized Egypt for making a peace agreement with Israel. The second one was Jordan in '94. The agreement was welcomed by Egypt alone. It was ignored by Syria, and Hezbollah resisted the treaty by firing rockets and mortar bombs on Israeli cities, trying to prevent that. The Oslo Accord was the first agreement between Israel and the Palestinians. It was basically a framework to establish the peace agreement later on. The idea was that Israel would withdraw from the Palestinian areas slowly, from Jericho and Gaza first to see how that works, and then from the rest of the area completely. Eventually, Israel withdrew from all the area, released 2,000 Palestinian prisoners, but it was unsuccessful, even a disaster. Syria rejected the agreement. Hafez al-Assad, which was the leader of Syria at the time, used threats against Arafat, which was the leader of the Palestinians, and King Hussein, which was Jordan's king, from signing the agreement. Syrian-backed Lebanese Palestinian group increased terrorist attack. Iranian-backed Hezbollah militant attack Israel from Lebanon. Arafat failed to prevent terrorism. Some say he even encouraged that. At the peak of all that, Prime Minister of Israel, was assassinated, surprisingly by a Jew who believed that his actions are endangering Israel. And so, in 2000, the Second Intifada broke. At that time, there was no Israeli presence in the West Bank, and there was a major escalation in violence to the point where we had terrorist attacks and suicide bombs in Israel on a daily basis, similar to what was happening in Boston not so long ago. That led to Operation Defensive Shield, in which Israel regained control of the West Bank in an attempt to stop a terrorist attack. So the conflict today, why don't we have peace yet? The Palestinians are divided. You have 2 different entities. You have one in the West Bank, controlled by Fatah, which is a terrorist organization that does not recognize Israel right to exist. You have another one in Gaza, controlled by Hamas. I'm sure you've heard of them. It's another terrorist organization that doesn't recognize Israel right to exist. They are divided. You have Iran, which continuously threatens to wipe Israel off the map. They may soon be nuclear armed. Okay, and you have Hezbollah, which are backed by Iran, in Lebanon. And Syria is having an internal war right now with approximately 70,000 casualties. That number is probably higher right now because it's increasing every day. And that endangers the entire zone because of the risk of chemical weapons falling into Hezbollah land. So, how do I think this could be solved? It's not a so simple solution. It's not easy to solve that kind of thing, but I think that the basis upon which a durable peace agreement can be established is the recognizing Israel's right to exist. Okay, today only 2 Arab countries recognize Israel out of 22. Arab countries like Lebanon, Jordan, and Syria should give the Palestinian refugees within their borders full human rights and citizenship, and that will allow those refugees camps to prosper into cities. Israel has to do everything, of course, to ensure equal rights within its border. And I have a lot of Arab friends. I know that both Israelis and Arabs want to have peace. Okay, I have many Arab friends that even serve with me in the military, and we just want to live side by side. And I believe it can happen. Okay, and I want to finish with a old Jewish prophecy from the Bible, for the end of the world as we know it, and we will have no more wars, and everyone shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Thank you very much.
So, which nation would be most important to recognize Israel as the Arab nations now?
Well, Turkey is a very strong country right now. Turkey recognizes Israel, but they have kind of an ambivalent relationship with us. So it's very important. I think if Turkey recognizes Israel fully, that'll make a big difference. Also Iran, but I don't see it happening very soon.
What about the Saudi Arabia? Would that make a big difference at all, or?
Yes, definitely. But I think the Arab nations, they're all one big coalition that they make their decisions pretty much together. So it's not one country or another. I think they all, as one entity, should recognize Israel.
Because you're from Israel, you don't have any anger towards other Arab countries?
No, I mean, not at all. I know that a lot of Arab countries, the population want peace, but the leaders don't. Okay, so I don't blame the population, I blame the leaders. But, yeah.
Do you want to be able to go and visit those countries?
Yes, of course, yeah.
Can you explain to us a little more about how it affects the everyday lives of the Israelis? You know, for example, military service, terrorist bombings, that it becomes part of your everyday life.
Yeah, okay, so in Israel, when you turn 18, everybody has to join the military. It's a mandatory service, okay, for 3 years. It sounds harsh, but in reality, most of Israelis want to join the military. Even if it wasn't mandatory, everybody would join, okay? So that becomes a part of everybody's lives. And in a period of time, in 2002, I remember that suicide bombing was so intense that people wouldn't go on buses because they were targeting buses, wouldn't go out to eat because they were, blowing up restaurants and stuff like that. So it was a very, very tough time. Yeah.
And it's both genders, right, that are mandatory.
Both genders, yes, yeah. We were more lenient towards women, but yeah, both